Hello friends, let us take a problem related to the linear static analysis. This problem is taken from Altair help manual, so I would like to thank them. As you can see, I have a simple problem. This particular rectangle is nothing but my cantilever beam. One end of the beam has been fixed in all 6 degrees of freedom. Total length of the beam is 10 mm and the transverse load having the magnitude 1 Newton has been applied while the thickness of the beam is 0.2 mm. Now if I perform the manual calculation, I will get the bending stress is equal to 300 megapascal and the deflection at the free end will be 0.095 mm. Though we can solve the same problem using the 1D analysis also, but here we are interested in finding the solution using the 2D element. Now since problem is very simple, we cannot ask the design engineer to create the geometry. In Hypermesh itself, we are going to create the geometry. So let us move on with the Hypermesh. As usual, I will create a file, say new. Then I will go for user profile and check whether the user profile has been set it to OptiStruct or not. Now the length of the beam is 10 mm while the thickness of the beam is 0.2 mm and the height of the beam is 1 mm. So let me create a node first. I will create a node at 0, 0 location. Then again I will create a node at 10 mm location. Let's say create. But I have to create the surface. Now one thing you can do, you can create a line and then you can drag that line along the y direction by 1 mm, or simply we can go for geometry. Let us go for surfaces and here I have option called as an drag along vector. Here it is asking me to select the node list. So let me select this is my node 1, this is my node 2. Then I want to define the direction along which I want to drag this two node. So I can go for the direction and I will set it to y-axis. Similarly, by how much distance you want to drag these two nodes, I can set it over here and simply say drag. As you can see, a beam has been created, but he has created a component automatically. So let me go for a component. Let us rename that component and here I will go for cantilever and here I will say 2D and press enter. Now again we have to mesh the component. So again I will go for F12. Select the surface and then mesh it. As you can see, using the size of 10 mm, I am only able to fit the one element, which is not acceptable at all. So let me change the size. So let me change the size to the 0.5 mm and let's say recalculate it all. As you can see, along the thickness there has to be at least 2 elements. It is mandatory condition in order to get the proper contour that along the thickness you should have at least 2 elements. And let me say return. Now we have created the component, we have created the elements also. Now we will go for the material. To create the material, I will come over here, say right click, create, and then I will go for material. Now since 210 gigapascal is the Young's modulus of steel, here I will type steel, press enter, and the property that he has given, the Young's modulus is given 210 gigapascal, but the modulus of rigidity he has given the 0. But since I cannot put the 0 value, I will keep this as it is, and for the Poisson's ratio I will keep the value 0.3 itself and then press enter. After the material we will go for the property. So right click, say create, and then we have to say the property. Now again I will say property for cantilever, press enter. Now the material that we have to select, so here I will go for steel, set it to OK. Then we have to mention the thickness. As described in the problem, I will give thickness value to be equal to 0.2 and I will cross verify the card image. So as you can see, the card image has been set it to P shell, which is the required condition for 2D element. So I will keep this as it is. Now next thing, we have to apply the property to the component. So usual drill is to go for component, then go for assign. One thing you can do also, click on the cantilever in the browser itself, right click over here and say assign. Again, instead of property none, I will set it to cantilever and say apply. Don't forget to read the status bar so that you will understand, okay, property has been applied. And let me set it to OK. Let me rotate my model little bit. And again, I will come over here and say 2D detailed representation. So as you can see, I am able to see the thickness. That means property has been applied. Now next, I will clear this temp node because most of the cases they will interfere with our problem. So I will go for temp node and say clear all. Now let us create the boundary condition. At this location we are going to fix all 6 degrees of freedom. So let's go for collector, let it set it to fix and then go for create and edit. Let me set it to return, go for analysis, here I will go for constraint and I will select all the 3 nodes and confirm whether all the 6 degrees of freedom have been ticked or not. Now since they are ticked, I will go for create. Now at this end I have to apply the load having the magnitude 1 Newton. But if I go like this, let me first create the load collector. But here let me select all these 3 nodes. Here I will set magnitude to -1 and set it to y-axis. But here if I say create, then 1 Newton will get applied to all these 3 nodes. That means total of 3 Newton force will get applied, which is not what I wanted. One thing that you can do is, you will select the number of nodes, you will count the number of nodes to which you want to apply the force value, then you will take the total magnitude of the force and divide it by the number of nodes. But since it is little bit hectic, nobody really goes this way. So in the company, what we would like to do, we will go for return. Here I will go for 1D. Then we will create a rigids. If I apply the force using rigid, the force will get distributed equally amongst all the nodes. So here I will set it to calculated node. Here go for nodes, select all the nodes and then say create. As you can see, one RB2 element has been created, but we are not able to see the center to which we are going to apply the load. So I will go for mask. Let me select all these elements and say mask. Now here I will go for surfaces and let me hide the surface. As you can see, I am able to see the RB2 element. Remember, in case of RB2, we have selected the 3 nodes. So we have 3 dependent node and 1 independent node. Now I am going to move that independent node using the translate command. Let me click over here and let me move it by 0.2 mm only. As you can see, these are the 3 nodes to which we want to apply the force, and this is the location where we are going to apply the force. So using the rigid element, the force from this dependent node will get equally transmitted to these 3 nodes. So let me say return. Again let me go for unmask and let me say return. So here we will go for analysis, create a force, select this independent node, cross verify the magnitude, direction and say create. Now the force also has been applied. Now the only thing that has remained is to tell the OptiStruct that we want to solve our model by using the linear static analysis. So let me go for return. So let me go for analysis. Let us go to the load step. Here you can give any name. So let me keep the static as it is. Click on SPC. Here we have to define the constraint. So I will go for fix. For the load I will go for the force and then confirm whether the type has been set it to linear static or not. Once the type has been confirmed, I will go for create and let me say return. Now all the things has been done, but before going for solution, kindly check all the things. That means material, property, duplicate element, free edges. All these things you supposed to check before going for solution. Because of time limitation, I am assuming that all the things are okay and I will go for solution. So let me first save my model. As you can see, I have saved my model by the name of static analysis. Now next we will go for the analysis. Let me come to the analysis. Let's click on OptiStruct and let's go for OptiStruct. As you can see, some error has occurred in the solution. So basically he is saying for material ID is equal to 1, the reference from property ID is equal to 1, either E or G must be explicitly provided. So that means I have forgot to mention the value of E. So let me go for material, let me come over here and then click over here and don't forget to press enter. This is usually I forget. So let me press Ctrl S, let me save it and then again go for OptiStruct and just click on OptiStruct. Yes, I do want to overwrite. After the completion of analysis, then next we will go for hyperview. Let me click on hyperview. Let us come to the parallel plane of XY. Let us go for contour. Let me go for displacement and say apply. Then we will go for legends, say edit legends. Here I will set it to fixed, here numeric precision to be 2. Let us remove the minimum. Here I will go for apply and then say OK. As you can see, the displacement value is coming out to be 0.11. While calculating the displacement value analytically, it is coming out to be 0.095. So we can say they are within the acceptable range. But what about the stress value? Let us check the stress. So let me come to the element stress, say component, say displayed and say apply. As you can see, the stress value is coming out to be 149. But if we check the analytical value, then it was coming out to be 300 megapascal. That means there is some mistake that we have done. The whole reason I have selected this problem is because of this particular thing only. Even after working for 2 years in the company, people will not understand why these problems are coming. See, all the analysis software, they are just the tools. When we use this analysis software, what is expected from you is that you're supposed to know the mathematical background of how these things are working. For example, if I consider the OptiStruct as a solver, whenever OptiStruct calculate any parameter, that particular parameter will by default get calculated at the center of element. For example, let me switch on the element. As you can see, if I have this element, all the values are getting calculated at this center point. So this is particular point at which value is getting calculated and which is known as an centroid. Again, this is the point where the value is getting calculated. Suppose if I go for results, let me go for query results. Let me select this element and this element. As you can see, this particular number 37 and 39, which are the ID of element, they are locating at the center of element. That means software has calculated the results on the center of element. But this is not what I wanted. I want to calculate the results at the integration point or at the corner point. But to do that, we have to exclusively tell the OptiStruct to calculate the result at the corner point or at the integration point. Let us see how to do that. Here, to tell the OptiStruct that we want to calculate the results at the integration point, we are going to use some cards and you have to remember these cards. So let me go for return. Here I will go for analysis and let us go for control cards. Using the control cards, we can manipulate lots of things. So let me go for next page. Here I will go for global output request. Then I will find the stress value. At the bottom you will find the stress value. So here we have the stress. Just click on it. Then this is the important thing. Here the location has not been mentioned. If I click on this box, I will get the multiple location. Now since I want to find the stress at the corner, I will click on the corner. So this particular thing is known as a card. If I click on format, it will basically tell you to which format you want to output the results. There are multiple formats, for example H3D, punch, pattern, plot and many more. Here I will set it to H3D because it is the most common output file for the OptiStruct. Let me go for return. Another card that you can change, or in company usually we change, I will go for next page. Here I will go for param. Then here I will go for auto SPC. Now this auto SPC is the crazy thing. If the auto SPC is switched on and by default it is a switched on, and if the two components are not connected, then OptiStruct will automatically understand, okay, these two components are not connected, and he will automatically create the rigid element between those two and he will solve the problem even if that is not correct. So here we have to tell the OptiStruct that don't use this auto SPC settings. If there is some problem, please tell me so. Then let's go for return. Let me save the file again, and again I will go for OptiStruct, say OptiStruct and overwrite the file. Once the analysis is completed, let us go for hyperview. Do the standard procedure as usual. Here as you can see, the displacement value has not changed at all because we have not interfered with the displacement. Let us go for the stress value in which we are interested. Let me set it to component, say displayed and say apply. But as you can see, the value is still coming out to be 149.94. Don't worry, here we will switch on the use corner data. Let me select the component, say displayed and say apply. Now you can see the value is coming out to be 311. Again let me select the component, say displayed, and here averaging method I will set it to simple and let's say apply. Again you can see our answer is coming out to be 306.91, which is much closer to the 300. So in this way basically you can solve the problem. I will sincerely request to my fellow engineers, take the simple problem, analytically find the solution of those problem and try to simulate those same thing in the software. By this way you will understand how the software is working and what should be settings that you supposed to tweak in order to get the analytical solution. If you do these things sincerely, then it does not matter how hard your project is, it will get easily solved because your fundamental will be very clear.